I'm gonna have to get used to this. Not. Oh wait. Oh, now wait. Now I guess it's going.
Hello.
There's no countdown anymore, so I'm really Hello. Welcome to I Think You Think, November 5th,
Hey, folks.
2013. I'm Justin, and on the other side of my computer screen is James.
Howdy, folks.
And Sequoia.
Hi.
Is there a delay, or are you guys just...
We're just being jerks. Sorry. I thinkers.
Okay, all right.
Is that what we call our people?
I was concerned that there might be a delay.
No delay. No,
What?
That was intentional. No delay. It was intentional.
Okay.
I was being silly. I apologize.
Okay, all right. He's trying to calm down from his Need for Speed anger.
What?
Yeah. Anyway, I Think You Think is a podcast that focuses on what we, your hosts, think, but also what you think. We believe that the forum of ideas should be open to everyone. Everyone should have opportunity to challenge and be challenged by ideas. Here to pass judgment, but merely discuss ideas and topics. The podcast, first and foremost, is a conversation between us and hopefully you. Feel free to email us, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and at the Chicago Now blogs. All the links are in the underbar of the video. Also, you can find the links on our Facebook page, facebook.com/ithink.youthink, or just do a search for I Think You Think podcast and find the first link that looks interesting. And all of it, I Think You Think is produced by StolenArts Productions and is recorded live at Fisher International Studios. How are you two doing today?
Feeling very alone. We've been so close the last several podcasts, and now, here I am by myself again. Don't cry for me, Argentina, or any other country.
I understand. Yeah, I miss being over there too.
It's nice, and that is our planned format in general, is to, when we can, podcast together. But it doesn't always work out, adults, jobs, children, life.
Speaking of adults, jobs, children, and life, how's what kind of things you have going on for you lately, James, in the last week?
First weekend back after my trip for my company, so it was a long weekend. I had several long days in a row. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday were all long days. And I tried to do a little recruiting yesterday at a local community college, but I have today and tomorrow off. So it's been relaxing. I've been reading, playing video games, doing laundry, covering my grocery shopping, etc., etc. So, although it's been kind of like go, today I just kind of took it easy, so I'm feeling very relaxed. Except for Need for Speed, which definitely brings my blood pressure up. That's all I got, though. That's all I got.
Well, I was wondering, since the Google Plus has the Google Hangouts has updated. Does the blue thing work yet, or no?
It's just mean that you bring that up. No, it doesn't. That hurts.
I was just.
I don't know why you got to.
It was an innocent question. All right.
He's trying to rub it in. He's trying to antagonize you. He knows you've been playing Need for Speed all day.
Yeah, I'm gonna go break my controller just so I feel better. No, it still does not work.
Sequoia, what about you? What do you got?
It doesn't work in Firefox. Anyways, go ahead. Sequoia, what have you been doing lately?
Well, I've been doing more homework, which is good, because I was not doing homework for a couple weeks. So I'm back on doing my homework, which is good. And my best friend, as you guys know, is about to have a baby. So I've been trying to help her out as much as possible. So yeah, baby stuff and homework stuff, and that's pretty much it besides work. So, yay!
What about you, Justin? Any babies? Any homework? Any Need for Speed?
I don't have any Need for Speed because I drive very slowly. But yes, work has been incredibly busy. I work in retail, so Christmas is coming, and we are spending a majority of this week getting ready for that because there are no other holidays between Halloween and Christmas. which everyone knows. This year, my company has, in the way of the way retail is going, we had been open previously on Thanksgiving because we are a 365-day-a-year company, but now we are actually open our regular hours. Instead of a limited hours of like 9 to 6, we're open 7 to 10 like normal, because people are out there shopping at like 7 and 8 o'clock at night because Target and Sears and everybody's open now on Thanksgiving. You know, maybe because companies don't think that their employees want to spend any time with their family, or maybe because they care more about profits than they can. Doesn't matter. That's not what we're talking about this week. I do have good news, though, for those who may follow. My son and I bought the PVR finally, so we will be able to hook up my Xbox and eventually the Xbox One, even though the Xbox One, I've heard, is supposed to be able to record gameplay and upload gameplay onto the StolenArts Productions YouTube page as well. And that also means that we can do a, like, I don't know, Left 4 Dead 2 game where all of us play and do a podcast of just us playing video games and talking to each other. We'll have a topic, kind of like an I Drink, You Drink thing, but with a video game.
We might have to pull Diablo 3 or Borderlands 2, because one of the people in this podcast does not own an Xbox. So we'll have to do something that we can do co-op.
Yes.
And if I have enough controllers, depending on how much frustration Need for Speed generates me, she could come and do it.
Actually, yeah, we could do it. We could set up actually at your house with multiple cameras, one on us and one. I don't know how that would work, but maybe we can figure it out. I don't know. Anybody have any suggestions? Feel free to email us, message us on Facebook.
I do have an additional TV I can access, so if you could bring over your Xbox, we could definitely rock something out for sure.
Okay, yeah, certainly. Yes, our topic is not to bring anything down from the excitement that's going on, but near-death experiences. We are talking about near-death experiences. James, you and I, back when it was just you and I, back at the BS time period before Sequoia.
I like that a lot. Because anything before me is bullshit.
Yeah, I didn't say it was bullshit. All right, let's treat it with a little modicum of respect here.
Well, I'm talking in life in general.
We're gonna go that way. We're modicum of respect. Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm ready.
Anyway, you and I had talked about death. And I shared about my grandmother and my feelings about those types of things, and you also shared things, and so now we're just going to talk more about just the near-death experiences, either things that we've heard, our thoughts on it, what we think it means. I assume a lot of the three of us are going to probably have similar ideas, so we'll kind of go through it, and if we all seem to be on the same page, we'll keep going. If anybody wants to send us a message on YouTube, or if you've joined the Hangout, you can message us there as well, and we'll address anything that way. And then other than that, we'll just move on to our articles that are in the health and spiritual aspect of things. So there we go. James started with things going on in his life, so not to throw things at Sequoia too quick, but let's start with you for NDEs.
Better be good.
I mean, I guess my first question is, like, because I've never had a near-death experience. I don't know, have you guys ever had a near-death experience?
No.
Every time I hit the start broadcast button.
Palpitations and gets all sweaty in uncomfortable places.
Not in the. I mean, are you talking about like in like the oh my god, I almost got hit by a car and I saw my life flash before my eyes, or like I was unconscious because I was having a heart attack and I saw myself floating above my body?
Well, I mean, I guess either one for this particular situation.
Really quick, because I was under the impression we were talking more about the latter, the people that feel like, and not, oh my god, that was close, literally, like you wake up in the hospital and be like you were dead for 34 seconds, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the one more we're talking about.
Okay, just want
Um,
to clarify.
I mean,
Oh shit! I did research on something completely different.
Oh man.
surprise, surprise. I'm just kidding. Um, uh, well, I mean, I've known a few people throughout the years who have, died for some small amount of time. Um, and I've watched a lot of documentaries that on my about it with my mom and everything. And I mean, I know that they talk a lot about like a lot of them see like lights or they feel like they're crossing over or like different things that they experience. And I think a lot of it has to do with neurons and nerves flaring off in your head. I don't know that it necessarily has anything to do with anything actually happening. I mean, you can't say, nobody can say for sure if there is anything after death. And like I would assume though that these near death experiences are probably not exactly reliable information either. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't really think there's anything after death, so it's kind of hard for me to like really truly believe that people see like, the white light of heaven. So,
Okay, so as odd as it is, since I'm the most religious or spiritual person in this group, if I can grab the mic for a moment. Okay, so I see it as two options because there's a lot of common themes to what people see in near-death experiences. And I was thinking about it, and there's kind of two ways you could take it. Okay, maybe that's what they see because it's a preconceived notion, because it's kind of put in our head of that's what is going to be because of, what we're taught culturally, via whatever it is, going to church or just talking to people or whatever. That's what you expect it's going to be. So the mind kind of creates that scenario for you because that's what it's supposed to be. But the flip side of that, the other possibility that I thought of is, what if that is what it is, and those stories have been passed down from generation to generation for all these years, and it's what we expect because that's what it is.
So kind of chicken egg thing.
Right. I mean, it could be either one. I'm just saying that like either side has got, because like Sequoia said, there's no, we don't know either way, but either one has got as much possible validity as the other.
I would probably disagree with you on each one has as much possible validity. Anytime you anytime you say something that's based in like a material realm that that we can show, it's more likely to say that there is that it's just neurons firing and it's because of our culture that we've thought this way. That's always going to be a more likely explanation than anything supernatural, because in order for it to be supernatural you'd have to exhaust every single possibility in the natural realm first off, and so that in and of itself lends more credence to a natural explanation than a supernatural one. But
the consistency
semantics.
in what people see, the consistency in the experience of a near-death experience, having like a common theme, if not like very very specific details, lends itself to one or the other. You could say 60-40, you could say 80-10, it doesn't matter until we know for sure that 10% still has a valid claim at the crown of being the truth.
Valid, if it's a small percentage, I understand
Take
what
off
you're
your
saying.
atheist hat for a moment. Just have the conversation.
All I'm saying is if there was really only two options, one option being more likely than another does not mean that they're on equal footing because there's only two options. I would say that in all reality there is the only two options you could say is either there is an afterlife or there is not an afterlife. Those are the only. Anything else sets up a false dichotomy, in which you could have there is an afterlife and we're experiencing it actually as we die, or there is not an afterlife and what we're experiencing is our brain's neurons firing. that sets up a false dichotomy, because there could be other options. There isn't an afterlife, but as our brains die, it taps into a supernatural realm that we're not a part of, or something like that. I mean, this is just shooting off the cuff here, is what I'm saying.
Okay, well, here, really quick, I was looking up some stuff, and...
What?
Yeah,
That's a skill you have?
I have articles. I don't want to, like, give anybody any kind of heart palpitations, but
Did you level up and drop some skill points in an otherwise unused experience box?
I got 4 more.
He didn't drop any skill points. He just edited his character sheet at one point.
All of a sudden, like, the research box has a couple talent points in it.
Okay, so anyway,
I don't need swimming.
It's more the procrastination. I was able to eliminate a couple of points on that. So 5 common themes of people that have near-death experiences. Number 1, by far the biggest of them all, is a reduced fear of death.
I was thinking a tunnel of light, but
you know, like, because of their experience, you know, and this is from a site that takes reference across the board, cultures, languages, everything. Reduced fear of death is by far the most often reported and emphasized that people, like, live on the rest of their life with that feeling.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay, go ahead.
Second, a sense of relative invulnerability, which is kind of odd, but it kind of makes sense. It's like facing your fear. And death is kind of the ultimate fear for people, you know, because it's a really big unknown. You know, is there an afterlife? Isn't there an afterlife? You know, there's a lot of unknowns about it, you know. Number 3, a feeling of special importance or destiny. Like you made it to that, whatever it is, like you were almost dead. Why am I still alive? It makes sense. 4, and like these, everything except the first one it's less common. That first one, the reduced fear of death, is really the one that is, like, pretty much remains true through a large number of people that have had these experiences. But anyways, number 4, believes in having received a special favor of God or fate. You know, so either side, whether it's, you know, religious or not, God or fate. You know, I guess it probably depends on their personal background or how they feel once they've come through whatever ordeal they've had. And then strengthened belief in continued existence is number 5 on the list. So it's kind of interesting, if you think about it, that these people that have had this walk away with that sense of, like, self and confidence and a meaning. Like those 5 things kind of combined, that's what I kind of get out of those 5 things. Like, you know, I feel confident, I feel strong, I feel like there's a meaning to this. Whatever that is, whether it's religious or not, you know, whether there's some course or not. And I know I'm, like, totally bringing up points that neither of you are bullshit. BS.
I was just going
to Sequoia.
I was just going to say that I think what James is proposing is that everyone should have a near-death experience in order to generate confidence and find a sense of meaning.
We can put that on the list. Everyone also needs to retake their driving test, okay? You idiots out there who can't drive. Everyone also needs to work for at least 1 year of their life surviving in a customer service-oriented thing. And stop listening to country music, but that's kind of low on the list.
What's wrong with country music?
That's a whole other podcast. We'll do that in an I Drink, You Drink.
I don't want to talk about that right now. Anyway, so, well, I mean, I think that the things that those types of things happening after a near-death experience are probably very accurate. I would imagine that, you know, facing the thing that we are not supposed to be able to come back from and coming back from it has to have some psychological effects on you, be they good or bad. I mean, I'm not saying that it has to be religious or secular. I am sure that, you know, getting to that point and then coming back, I would imagine it would fill you with a sense of, like, I am here for a reason. Like, there's a reason that I'm I was able to come back from this thing that you're not supposed to be able to come back from. I think those are very logical sort of, maybe not logical, but I can totally get from point A to point B with them. Like, I can go that road. Okay, I get it. I don't think, and I'm not saying that it necessarily has to be religious or secular. I'm an atheist, but a lot of people aren't. So I'm sure that if they are seeing, white lights or whatever, that, if you're a religious person, you're going to interpret it as being, as having religious significance. But I guess the reason that I feel like it doesn't have religious significance, my sort of like argument back to that, is that, in most religions there is not only a heaven, but there's also a hell. And nobody comes back and is like, I saw the flames. Or at least hardly ever, not often.
I was going to say, there are reports of people who have NDEs who go to hell or something like that.
Yes.
What I would say is that their religious afterlife mirrors the afterlife that they were taught.
Yes.
You don't have someone who grew up in a Buddhist monastery who's never heard of Jesus go through an NDE and say, I was there, Jesus was there, Noah and Moses, and we were like hanging out. You don't have experiences like that. They tend to mirror the religious upbringing or training that they've had.
Okay, so just to play devil's advocate for a moment, number one, if religion is right, wouldn't you format it to your follower? If you were the almighty deity, you would make it what they would expect. Okay, that's my number one point. And number two, if you have a near-death experience and you go to hell, are you going to be as likely to tell that story as the one who went to heaven? No, you're just going to drink a lot for the rest of your life. Like, seriously. Or you're just going to become a better person, like, immediately. You know what I mean? Like, if that's the vision you have, or that's the way the neurons fire for you, however you want to phrase it, however you want to look at it, you're not going to tell that story a lot. It's not going to be a story you want to tell.
Well, okay, then, to play devil's advocate to your devil's advocate, on the same token, if you are somebody who has...
That was my phone. I'm just not... Oh, there it is.
If you are somebody who has, died for, however long, and you come back and you experienced nothing, and you are going to these, support groups, you're talking to people who've been through it before, or you're talking to people who have never been through it, and they're expecting a story, wouldn't you say, I saw the white light, and, whatever, and then I came back?
But if you experience nothing, you can't experience nothing. Does that make sense? If it's nothing,
I know
you'd just be
right.
someone who was...
You're talking about if you're trying to define nothing as not having, not being conscious, not anything, then you didn't experience nothing. You can't experience nothing. Nothing, by definition, is nothing.
So you're just like, I was dead for 34 seconds. That's what they told me. It's not like an experience in itself to have it be nothing.
No, but I would imagine that there's probably an expectation to have experienced something. So I'd imagine that people probably...
I see. What Sequoia is saying is, you have an expectation that you would experience something, but there wasn't an experience to be had. Therefore, what she's saying is she experienced nothing. She didn't actually physically experience it, but she did not experience something, and therefore there was nothing.
Well, not that I personally, but I'm saying if somebody were to die and wake up and they were like, oh, you were dead, and then you are sort of dealing with this oh my God, I died, and people are like, what happened? I would imagine there's probably a certain amount of what happened to you. What did you experience? What did you see? What did you feel? And there is sort of this, societal idea that when you die, you see a white light. But so people may just be make up the experience because they don't have a story to tell. I'm not saying this is everybody. I'm saying this might happen to some people.
Well, yeah. I would, just thinking through the people that I know well and have known well over years, I would consider out of them a very, very small percentage of people that would actually take that route of making something up as opposed to being nothing really, I don't know,
Yeah, in the end, my thought is it doesn't make a difference to me whether or not the person's making up the story or actually experienced it. It doesn't change, my understanding of, and obviously I'm not a neuroscientist, but they have actually recently been doing some studies on rats going through, dying, and they found that during clinical death, and clinical death is defined as once the lungs shut down, the heart shuts down. It's not brain death. There is still brain activity. It's what they call clinical death. Basically, the things that keep life going inside of your own body has stopped, but the brain is going through the process of shutting down, because being dead is not a black-white thing. It's a very gray area, and it's
Let people that are dead.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's like somatic death, but but anyway, during this process where the brain is dying, lots of things happen as the chemicals go crazy inside the brain, and start releasing things. And they found that right at that moment before the brain death, there is an explosion of conscious activity. More than you would ever expect, and obviously these are tests done on rats, so they have no idea.
That's the rat's soul leaving the body.
That's one of the arguments people have said, is that this is just an explosion of energy in order to get the soul out of the body.
Do all rats go to heaven?
No.
Well, everybody goes.
Yes, actually they do, but no hamsters and no gerbils go to heaven.
Yes, because the cats that are up there need something to eat.
I'm sorry, cats would definitely go to hell. I love cats. I love cats so much, but they would definitely be going to hell. Cats are not nice creatures.
I guess my entire thought on it is the fact that I don't want to die. I'm not looking forward to it. I doubt there are very many people who do. But the one thing that if it's a situation in which I'm going to die of old age, my body just shuts down and not I'm in a car accident and then suddenly I'm dead. The one thing that I am not looking forward to, but at least it doesn't scare me, is the fact that when your brain goes through that shutting down process, it releases lots of endorphins, lots of dopamine, things that make you feel very good, feel safe, feel warm and secure, and at least that is something to sort of, I guess, look forward to at that moment.
Dying is the ultimate high. Is that what you're saying? Is that what we're teaching?
I don't know if it's the ultimate high. I don't think I would want to test that hypothesis of yours. There was a movie in the late 80s, the 90s, Flatliners.
Yep.
That where there was a bunch of medical students, and they would die, and it would be how long they could stay under for, and they brought evil spirits back with them or something. I remember watching it at a young age, and it was kind of creepy, but yeah, that's
Julia
kind
Roberts was in that?
Who?
What's that?
I feel like Julia Roberts was in that, or
maybe Kiefer Sutherland.
Yes.
Kiefer Sutherland was definitely in that.
Yes, he was.
I don't remember who else.
Yeah.
But
anyway, sorry.
But yeah.
Do you remember what kind of jewelry they were wearing in that movie?
I am not even ready. I was trying to get there, man. I needed 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
We're
2 minutes to look
past
that up. I needed 2 minutes to find out what kind of jewelry they were wearing.
Do you know? Has she ever watched the podcast? Does she know how much we push her material? I want her to. She needs to do a coupon where they put in I think you think, and they get a whatever.
You know what? That's a good idea. I'll have to talk to her about it.
I would love to see if we're pushing anything her way.
Yeah, it would be nice to know. So we'll talk to her about maybe doing some kind of special coupon when you put in I think you think. But anyway, StravaMax.com.
There's nothing like that now, and you don't need it because these prices are good anyways. Realistically, when you look at the stuff.
They've always got something on sale. I really like those earrings actually because they kind of look like a planet with a thingamajigger around it. A ring.
A ring, yes.
Yes. Anyway, yes. So StravaMax.com, the young lady that did our graphics, also makes jewelries for them. So go check it out.
Justin with the tabs.
Yeah, I know. Look at all those
I was
tabs.
waiting. I didn't want to distract from his spiel. We can see all of them.
I know. I didn't. I normally put it under. Bring only the one thing so you can see. But
is that Supernatural right there?
It's one of my articles.
Okay. Oh,
so,
no spoilers. It's cool.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure you weren't.
All right.
You weren't following
Coming over to the dark side.
Yeah.
No, I've seen enough of that show to know that I don't like it at all. So I mean, like it's really hokey to me. Like the writing and the acting and all of it just is over the top hokey to me.
You know, I really hated it at first. Like the first 2 seasons, I was like, this show is crap. I hate this.
You watched through 2 seasons?
No, here's the thing.
Crap.
It was like no. Somebody that
crap, but he's pretty.
I had to watch it because somebody else that I lived with was watching it, so it was like on all the time, and I was like, the show's stupid. I would go to work.
I was forced to. It wasn't my fault.
I would go to work, and me and my coworker, she was like, oh, my girlfriend's watching this. It's so bad, blah blah blah. And then one day we were both like, season 4 is not so bad.
You know went downhill
from there. Wait, what?
Yeah.
This story's got
you were just following orders watching the show, huh?
No, it was just on, and I wasn't sitting down okay, I'm gonna watch this. It was, oh my god, that was awful. I am done with this story now.
Okay, so anyways, I have an article I want to go over.
I don't know if it's a countdown, James. We're gonna have to make you go last.
No, I'm going first because I like this article. Okay.
I have an article, goddammit.
I have a single article, but it's health spiritual this week, and this is right on the edge of that. So I guess the Pope decided that there was some bishop that had a $40 million mansion, and it's getting converted into a soup kitchen, and the bishop's getting kicked out. And that's the entirety of the story, but I just love it. It just makes me very happy.
That's amazing.
No. Actually, I think they should make him work there at whatever the entry-level position is at a soup kitchen. $40 million mansion?
I think volunteer is the entry-level position.
You can exactly. But, you can't have a $40 million mansion unless you're some big corporate bigwig in America who steals that from the rest of America. You can't do that as a bishop.
You know what? Speaking about soup kitchen, we should do an I Think You Think where we go and volunteer at a soup kitchen.
I'm down. It's got to be the right day just because our work schedule is collectively.
Yeah, and we'll also have to get T-shirts.
I could probably get some more people too. We could probably get some volunteers. I'd have to ask around, and as long as schedule,
we'll have to. You know what? We'll start working on that, and we'll try to do it sometime early in 2014, because everybody wants to volunteer at soup kitchens during the holidays, and they're overwhelmed with help during this time period, and so we'll shoot for sometime, maybe February, March, or something.
Okay, We'll talk about it in the post show.
Yes.
But yes. Definitely, I'm definitely down. I'm 100% down.
Yeah, right. Same here.
Sequoia, article, go.
Okay, so.
Faster.
I feel all kinds of pressure. Oh my god.
Justin.
All right, so.
Go.
No. Okay, so health and spiritual. I have one under health. It's talking about how a gluten-free diet will not make you lose weight. I work in the restaurant industry. And if I have to hear one more person say that they are gluten-free, when I can tell you that not that many people have celiac disease, I'm going to scream. Gluten-free doesn't do anything for you unless you actually have a gluten intolerance. Don't call me out in front of everybody.
You're not going to scream because you're good at your job.
I am. Well, thank you.
That's the same problem I have when people are looking... It's the same problem I have when people are looking at homeopathic stuff at work.
Yeah, well, you know, and the gluten-free thing, there is an actual, allergy to it. There are people with celiac disease who cannot tolerate it. But otherwise, people think that it's going to make you lose weight, and it's not. It's going to make you gain weight, actually.
Maybe they just prefer it. They prefer a gluten-free diet. I prefer Diet Coke over regular Coke. I don't drink it because I'm on a diet.
No.
Here's what you do. Take 1 can of Diet Coke, write the date on it, and then open it 18 months later, and then you tell me if you still like Diet Coke. Do it with a can of normal Coke, too. And 18 months later, open them both.
No, that's
you
because
tell
the
me.
saccharin breaks down in a shorter amount of time than the sugar enzyme.
It's not better for you, man. It's not better for you.
I didn't say it was better for me. I said I prefer it.
Okay.
Okay, but the thing is
Why don't
about
you
like, okay,
listen to what I'm
first of
saying?
all,
No, I just wait to talk. That's all I do. It's not I think you think. I just think that.
Oh, by the
it's one of the
way,
first
one
parts
of our
I
new
think.
sponsors.
Get that out of there. Pepsi's gonna sue us or something. I
Okay.
don't know how it works.
Why would Pepsi?
I
sue
love
us?
RC Cola.
But I mean, the thing is, like, no, I cannot imagine anybody preferring a gluten-free diet because gluten is in spices, gluten is in bread, gluten's in everything delicious in the world. First of all,
Like
second
that.
of all,
Wait, really quick. Is there gluten in a Reese's peanut butter cup?
yes,
Okay, then I'm not gonna argue. Go ahead.
gluten-free diets are very hard to follow, and a lot of people just think that that gluten is something bad. It's become a trendy diet, and a lot of people don't realize what gluten is, and it just really bothers me every time I hear somebody tell me they're gluten-free because most people do not have celiac disease. And if you go ahead.
I just want to say that it is like 1,000 times less douchey than being a vegan.
I actually no, I don't agree because I feel like if you're vegan, there's like a reason behind it. Like I may not agree with those reasons, but at least you're impassioned for a reason. If you're gluten-free just because you think it's the trendy thing to do.
Okay, so let me add on to that because I wasn't really as specific as it needed to be. It is 1,000 times less douchey than being a vegan and going into a chain restaurant and asking what they had. It's vegan.
It's actually
If
yeah.
you walk into a Chili's and want something vegan, you're an idiot.
Why are you eating at Chili's?
Because restaurants like that are never going to be vegan. Even
Yeah.
if like what you get is vegan, it's not even cross contamination at that point. Just the massive amount of food that comes out. There's no guarantee of it. You're a fool. If you're a vegan, eat at home. Find vegan restaurants. Find places that literally offer vegan stuff. You can't just go into Arby's and be like, hey, you got a vegan roast beef sandwich? You can't. It's not going to happen. If you're a vegan, you're making certain sacrifices. And a lot of that's going to be cooking for yourself. End of story. It's true. It's true. I mean, hey, live that life if you want to. It makes no difference to me. But the fact of the matter is, it's a huge sacrifice, and you're going to have to be committed to that cause, and you never get to eat at TGI Fridays again, unless you're going to be a pretend vegan and just be like, yes, it's vegan, even though I'm eating at TGI Fridays, and there's probably no way that what I'm eating is vegan. And I don't know.
Well, and
TGI
I
Fridays
feel
might have
like
a vegan menu. I have no idea.
I feel like if you're like really truly a vegan, you wouldn't like if you're doing it for like, you want to save the animals and all that kind of stuff. Like I feel like going to TGI Fridays really doesn't help the cause because you're still contributing to, a restaurant that, or any of the chain restaurants, not TGI Fridays specifically. I have no problem with TGI Fridays specifically.
Yeah, I have no problem with any of those restaurants.
Any of the chain restaurants that it's a huge corporation that is spending giving thousands of dollars to the meatpacking industry every year. So you're millions of dollars to the meatpacking industry. So it's not like you're not contributing because you are.
I mean, that's a whole other thing. We could probably spend an hour. I could vent about a lot of things over an hour. We could probably talk about special diets for an entire podcast.
It's true.
But yeah, you can't go to a normal restaurant as a vegan. If they don't offer vegan options, presume that even if they say yes, chances are that you're not sticking to your vegan.
Well, and
diet, even if it's only like molecules.
The thing
I'm gonna jump in here and change the topic.
Okay.
Get us back onto topic.
Somebody has an
We only got
article they
about
want to
15
read
minutes
today.
left. So, what was that?
Somebody has an article they really want to share.
No, not necessarily. I just, it's in the same realm as, this just in, water is wet, and, the sky is above us type thing. It's supernatural experiences trigger religious donations. There was a study that was done, and what they found is that using the same kind of like social exchange theory. Where did James go? I don't see his video anymore.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, maybe he just didn't want to hear this.
Either that or maybe his laptop died again.
We're just he is. Let me unmute him here. Show in the broadcast. James, you'll have to unmute yourself.
What do you mean?
Oh, there we go.
What happened?
Never mind.
Anyway, so they used social social exchange theory, which has to do with people do things and purchase things and give to things with the idea that they're going to get in a very selfish way. Like we buy things because we're willing to spend this amount of money to get something that we want. Likewise, I'm going to scratch this person's back because when it comes back, I'm going to get something back in return.
Reciprocity.
And yes, right, reciprocity. And the idea is that those who have had spiritual experiences, who assign divine special favor or anything to them, or feel like they've gotten special favor from a divine being or have had a supernatural experience, tend to give more and donate more to their churches and things like that. And the study examined that and how people feel about it and these different types of churches and things. And I thought it was one of those, like, hey, this just in, the ground is what we stand on type thing. Like, okay.
Speaking about this just in.
Your computer died?
No, my computer did not die. Don't say things like that because it's been acting funny for a while. But it's right on the edge of what we're talking about, but I think it's important to mention that today, Illinois legislature passes gay marriage bill, paving the way for legalization. So it's not the final step, but it's a big step.
Yay!
And I'm proud to live in a state that's making these moves. It's
can
right on the edge of spiritual. For a lot of people, marriage is very spiritual, and a lot of people argue against gay marriage or spiritual or just dumb. So, I figured it was good.
Yeah, there are religious arguments against homosexuality. So.
Yep, because of that one reference in the Bible, I think.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3, but it depends really on how you interpret it. I've
Such
heard.
a little book, 3 references, man. It's got to be really focused on that.
Hey, Jesus never said anything against homosexuality.
Nope. It's because he was a dude.
He hung out with a bunch of guys and said, let me teach you how to be fishers of men.
And he turned all the water to wine, getting everybody drunk. It's a good tactic.
Yeah.
And
if we haven't ventured too far into blasphemy, go ahead, Sequoia.
That's also about same-sex marriage, first of all, because hopefully it won't be too much longer until it's legal here.
Because you've got your eye on somebody?
Well, no, I was actually thinking, Jeff was probably really smart to lock Becky down before gay marriage became legal in Illinois. So, my article has nothing to do with any of that. My article is about the 5 effects that daylight savings time has.
Almost none at this stage.
Well, it was talking about directly after daylight savings time, sort of it's more like a lot of the stuff focused on the day after daylight savings time. That there are a lot more car accidents, and this is more when we spring forward and we lose the hour of sleep.
Yeah.
The car accidents happen. It said just because even if it's only an hour of sleep, it messes with your circadian rhythm, and you don't feel it as much, but it's happening that you're not as engaged. It said that for jobs like miners and very labor-intensive jobs, there's a lot more workplace injuries. There's more heart attacks, increased cluster headaches.
What?
cluster headaches that cluster on like one side of the brain or one side of the head. They tend to last. They can last anywhere from a few hours to days or weeks at a time. They're very, very painful. I've had cluster headaches a couple of times. Like they last forever and they're very painful. And there is a lot more of them going into daylight savings time, just because it throws the body out of whack. And this one, which I thought was kind of funny, is that there's an increase in cyber loafing, which I've never heard before. Cyber loafing, which I'm guessing is what you'd call my hours usually spent on Tumblr.
What is it? Do you know what cyber loafing is?
Yeah, cyber loafing is when you're just like sort of falling down the rabbit hole of the internet, you know, like.
That's how I found this podcast.
Same here, actually. Fell down the rabbit hole. Yeah, so it was saying that a lot more, that there's like a huge increase in amount of time spent on like non-productive internet time.
I call that opening tabs.
That's all you must have time to do.
I just push the button. Google, show me something cool.
He's got it set. Anytime he clicks on anything, it opens a new tab for him.
Yeah. I don't ever use my back button because I don't need to.
Nope, it's all right there for you. I feel like there's some browser somewhere that has every page he's ever opened. Still alive.
Probably.
Was that all 5 of them? I thought we only had 4. Was that all 5?
Yeah, that was all 5.
I had heard an article on NPR saying that when the daylight savings, when it goes away in the fall, or then in November, basically, they've done studies over the last couple of years, because just recently it moved over the last it moved further back in the year by 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. And what they found is the crime rate actually goes up. There's an increase in crime rate because it's getting darker sooner. Mm-hmm. That was one of the studies. That's what it found and that one of the questions the interviewer asked was, is it just because of that, or is it just because it's getting darker earlier? And they compared it over the last few years where it had changed, and the crime rate seems to follow that change in the daylight savings. I think we're one of the only countries that even do daylight savings.
It's an outdated practice.
Yeah, it's the remnants of what it used to be, was to basically extend the daylight time for when the kids get home from school so that they can help on the farm.
Yeah.
Which
And you can't even get the
few
kids taking
kids
the garbage anymore, so.
Yeah. Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
I have a difficulty getting my 8-year-old to take the dishes downstairs.
Well, and there are a couple states in America that don't do it. Hawaii doesn't do it. I know Arizona doesn't do it. A couple other states that don't do it anymore. So it's this weird thing where if you're going from California, if you're going from California to Arizona to Nevada, like if you drive through those 3 states, you could be in completely different times every time that you pass. Yeah.
Because 2 of them are doing daylight savings and the other one isn't, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be eliminated. It's not relevant
there's really
anymore.
no reason for it anymore.
Yeah. It's just we live in a 24-hour world now, so.
I just hope that when they do it like they
after we get the hour back, not before.
Not before. Like, don't take away the hour from us, and then they're like, okay, well, we're keeping the time at this time now. And then I'll always feel like the United States government owes me an hour.
And they'll keep it.
Yeah, they'll be like, screw you. It's mine now.
You could just start, showing up to everything an hour later until people just are like, fine,
just
Justin.
like that's what time he shows up. I'll just schedule him for an hour.
Like to everything,
you don't like it?
Parties.
Call the government. They have my hour. I'm going to bet here
they
on
have my
time.
hour. Talk to
just
them.
Give it back to me. So I do have one more article.
Oh, well, we're going to skip me then. Fine.
What? Go, go. No,
I
fine, go.
I guess I mentioned the NPR thing. It wasn't on my list of stuff, but that's fine. I'm
No,
just
go
gonna say
ahead.
this really quick. All right, here's the article.
Okay.
All right, here we go. A new Food and Drug Administration report from Pathogens and Filth in Spices, that's the name of the report, says that 12% of U.S. spice imports are contaminated with bug parts, rodent hairs, and other ingredients more appropriate to a witch's brew than your mother's favorite recipe. Thank you. That's from CNN.
Raise your hand if you're surprised and or care.
It's all pure protein.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
It's
the reality.
It's tasty.
Like, no one wants to know what's actually allowed to be in food, like the parts per million of like whatever. You don't want to know.
Especially in canned goods, it's disgusting.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We've lived with it all this time. Trust me, most people that will watch this podcast have probably lived with it their entire lives. It's not a big deal, people. Don't freak out.
Just make sure you cook your food
princess.
thoroughly, and you're okay. Don't eat spices out.
Always. If in doubt, 165 for 7 seconds, you're good. As long as that's been sitting out for more than 4 hours, throw it away. Okay, so anyways, I just had a quick article on life expectancies by nation. Did you know, number one, that there's 222 different nations in the world right now? Basically, some of them are like city-states, but 222. Incredible. So would either of you like to guess on what the age variance is approximately from the best life expectancy to the worst?
I'll say 43 years.
Sequoia?
The variance?
Yes.
35.
Okay, 41. Monaco is presently sitting at just under 90 years, and the country of Chad is just under 49 years.
Wow.
Yes. America is at 78.5. We rank 51 among the 222, so we're in the upper half. And Yazzie, Norway's winning. They got us beat by like a year. It's pretty tight clusters towards the top. Everywhere from like 146 on the list is the first one that ranks in, or I'm sorry, 148, first one that ranks in the 70s, so 70 to 89, which Monaco is 89, and they beat Macau by 5+ years. So it's they have a pretty big jump there. But there's a lot of millionaires and billionaires that live there. But yeah, so 148 of the countries are 70 and above, and then the remaining, whatever it is, 74 countries are 69 and below. There's only 4 countries that are under 50 years. Afghanistan, Swaziland, South Africa, and Chad, in that order. Afghanistan's got a higher life expectancy than the other 3.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just amazing to think that, on the same planet there can be, because it is really close to being double at Monaco what it is in Chad, or any of those other 4 countries that are at the bottom, and it's just amazing that, to me at least, that is that much variance, on the same planet, we're all the same people, just Chad is war-ridden and poverty, 80% below the poverty line in Chad.
It's the difference between having, stable government and, human rights laws that are more effective and tend to protect women and children, and good health care. That's really the difference. Those are the things that make huge strides. But even 49, that would be ancient for most humans earlier in our ancestry didn't live much into our 30s.
Well, I actually read an article one time, and I would have to find it again, and I don't know how valid it is, but it was saying that that actually could be something to do with flaws in carbon dating. as far as dating how old something is and how old it was when it died, that it can only date in a certain way, that the 30s is, and that average age of 30 also includes like children that they found
Yeah.
and babies that they found, so that the average life expectancy may have been much older for people who actually lived into adulthood.
Right.
For
It's
ancient
kind
humans.
of like in the Middle Ages, the life expectancy was the 30s, the lower 40s, but that's because there was such a huge number of children that died in their infancy and young lives, which
Yeah.
drew down. Basically, if you made it to like 4 or 5, you were probably going to live to possibly
Mhm.
50 or 60, assuming you didn't die from some freak accident.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the average age isn't taking into account like the mortality rate of a certain age group, pretty much.
Right.
Right.
Right. But unfortunately, during that time, during the our earliest ancestors, well, a lot of times we died from our teeth. The teeth were the things that
Mhm.
would just, they'd get infected. We didn't have any kind of dental concepts other than like pulling the thing out, and you get an infection, and that could be the end of your life. I mean,
Yeah.
and ironically, right now, I took my son to the dentist this afternoon, and he has a slight infection in his gum that they prescribed antibiotics for, and it's like, a couple of hundred years ago he could possibly die from something like this,
Mhm.
but he's going to be perfectly fine. So, I mean, I'm not a clairvoyant or anything, but I assume antibiotics tend to kill bacterial
Clairvoyant
infections.
atheist. That would be a weird job description.
It sounds like an A&E movie. Actually, I don't know A&E. A&E is probably. I should have went with a Fox sitcom, The Clairvoyant Atheist.
I don't know. Do some research. Have it ready next week.
I'm sorry. I'll pitch the idea next week. Sorry.
Don't get ahead of yourself, Justin.
Yeah.
I think we have reached our hour.
We have indeed. First of all, I want to thank everybody who's liked the Facebook page. It's great to see a whole bunch of new faces. For those who don't know, this show is completely interactive. You guys can be part. You folks can be part of this right here. What we're doing right now. You can be in the Hangout. You can chat with us. You can interact with us on the Facebook page. You can, if you are so interested, so inclined, if you want to be a guest, we will make that happen as well. Just let us know any topics you're interested in. Please just let us know. It's completely, you have complete access to us and the show. So there you go. Like the video, share it on your Facebook page, invite your friends to check out the Facebook page, check out the podcast. And just keep in touch with us. You can email us at ithinkyoutthink2012@gmail.com or message us on Facebook. Thank you very much, and we will see all of you next week.